Well, at a time when many insurance companies are leaving Louisiana and others are dramatically raising their rates, there is a bit of good news for thousands of local homeowners.
Flood insurance rates are actually going down in several portions of the metro area, and as Rob Masson reports, many residents say they need the help.
My insurance company was one of the ones that went out of business.
2 years after Hurricane Ida, and this is Gary Rozier's reality.
We're still waiting on repairs, still waiting on air conditioning. Haven't had an air condition. We have a big hole in our ceiling and the floors. And
the West Bank resident lives in a raised home, but Ida's destruction remains.
it's hard to cook because it's so hot, but we'll make it work.
At a time when insurance problems are all too common and expensive, in South Louisiana, a ray of hope.
Anytime that you do or enforce things that are above FEMA's minimum requirement, then you can earn credit for that.
Because Jefferson Parish officials have been enforcing storm-resilient building standards, homeowners in unincorporated areas are now seeing a 25% reduction in flood insurance costs, something which residents like Gary Rozier hope to see soon.
I haven't seen anything yet.
Part of the flood insurance rate reductions can be attributed to homes like this one raised at tremendous taxpayer expense through a hazard mitigation program that's designed to cut repetitive losses.
We require that people go at least 2 feet above that base flood elevation to build in this extra protection, and that's called freeboard.
That's something being done in Mandeville as well, and residents there could see flood insurance reductions as high as 25% reflected in their bills this fall.
Because we participate in these programs and have these rules and regulations that we not only enforce, but educate people from the beginning, that's why we're able to provide the savings to all of our residents.
Officials on both sides of the lake say tougher building standards have helped save homeowners hundreds of thousands of dollars, savings which many say they badly need to remain in their homes.
Here to stay. Here to stay. Yeah, it's not that bad. It could be worse.
And leaders in Jefferson Parish and Mandeville say if homeowners continue to adhere to high construction standards, they say their savings on flood insurance could rise to 30% next year.